It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS.
Dan, to add on to, you said your lesson for everybody. I mean, you think about this, you and I get to have a really fun conversation after this podcast because we're going to talk about your conversation with Andy. We're also going to talk about the unique insurances that come along with running a CPA firm.
I know, that's why I was like,
you probably aren't aware of. Right.
Well, that's why I told Lauren, I was like, this has to be a separate business. I don't want to do this within our bookkeeping business.
Oh, yeah. And there's unique things that you need from an errors and omissions perspective and all that. So it's just one of those things where when you're looking to evolve, and especially you, Dan, I mean, you're different than a lot of business owners that I work with because you're like, whoa, we need this. Let's start it. Let's build it. Let's make it successful.
Let's start it.
Right. And that's unique and it's fun. It's can be risky, but it can also be very rewarding. And as long as you don't overstep your bounds, which I don't think you have yet, things are going very well. But there's so many different nuances that come into different industry, what you need to pay attention to. I mean, you think about your people that are out cleaning windows right now. The insurances you have in place for that business are crucial. They're important. They make a big splash. But your E&O insurance, your professional liability insurance, that's not a big piece of that business because the exposure and the risk isn't really there. The CPA business you're about to start, flip the scales the exact opposite way, right? Because that is where all the risk and liability aligns, but making sure that you have those things set up the right way, it's crazy. And then being a business owner like you and like James and people that are doing different elements of business and working things in and growing and cultivating, it's crazy because you're learning something brand new the next day that you maybe didn't know existed the day before. And that's just that one small segment of risk management to your business when you have all of these other areas, marketing, sales, all these different pieces that you're working on. So it's a crazy world. And I don't know how you juggle it all, but
and that's what I've learned is if you want to keep growing and expanding, especially if it's geographically or other skill sets, you can't just like keep trying to be the superhero. And for the longest time, we were just like, oh yeah, we'll just go start businesses here and start businesses there. And then we realized like, oh, but if we don't have a partner over there and we just have a manager, they're not losing sleep over it. Not the way an owner would. And so, which, like if you're looking at it like from a 30,000 foot view, you're like, no shit, dude. That's why like franchises exist, right? Because the guys that run McDonald's can't run all of the McDonald's. They need owners to own those stores and obsess about it. They can give them all the tools, but they can't go wheels up and get to a different city to fix a problem that just happened, right? Somebody has to be the owner there that's going to like fall on that sword and fix the problem. And so if you're like thinking of expanding, I just like, that's my cautionary lesson learned is think about who you're going to expand with, because if it has to be you that has to fly down to St. Louis on a moment's notice and you're sacrificing family time and stuff like that, you're probably not going to love it. And it sucks being in businesses if you don't love it. Like if you're an entrepreneur, the beauty of it is that you should absolutely love it because you got to choose it. Right. And if you find yourself doing stuff you don't love, you better fix it. So we have looked at like who we could partner with in that specific business. Like who could we bring on as a partner there so that I don't have to do that, which is why we have Andy in Minneapolis. I have Derek in Cincinnati. If we do the CPA thing, or as we do the CPA thing, I'll have Lauren in that business. Like somebody's got to be obsessing and losing sleep about it.
And even when you're managing partner, I mean, you could be 20% and still have a lot of responsibility in that business too, right? So that 20% is taking you away from what you're really good at probably in a different business. So there's going to be some loss because you can't do 100% of both and you can't give 100% to both. So that's what I found out too. It's just, what can you find a strategic partner, but you're still giving away some kind of mindset or management or consulting or, HR, whatever you're doing, but then you're losing focus on the bigger picture of what you're good at. So you have to get to a point first in the main business where you can at least step away a little bit on that before you want to start a pool company or a window cleaning company or a hot tub, like whatever it is. You have to put those processes in place where you maybe aren't needed 100% of the time for that machine to run itself.
Yeah, in order to even just free you up to do anything else and think about anything else.